Hello everybody, welcome back to Chapter 1, Onikakushi with Higurashi no Nakokoto ni. My name is Meisterbloo. Let's continue on with the saddest scene in the entire series, in my opinion. At that moment, a cold chill ran down my spine once again. I couldn't understand why such a sensation had occurred just then. But the voice inside of me was sounding the alarm. This happy Rena, speaking of this charming dinner, was dependent on one premise. And that premise was that tonight, dinner hadn't been made at my house. Meaning it was under the assumption that my mom, who should be making it, wasn't here. At any normal household, 7 o'clock would be around the middle of dinner time. If my mom were here, we'd be eating dinner around this time as well. The fact that she brought over all the makings of a meal at this time was inherently strange. Unless she knew. Rena... Did she know that my parents weren't home? But there was also the chance that this was a bluff. I had turned on the lights and a bunch of other stuff to make it seem like my parents were here. There was a chance that Rena was unsure if my parents were home. But I had to wonder. The laundry, the garage, the evening paper. There were plenty of signs of them being hastily tidied up. It was hard to say that Rena didn't have a chance to determine if my parents were here or not. But there was no reason for me to confess that right now. I should try holding on to that fact as long as I could. First of all, the chain was still latched. As long as I didn't take it off, Rena wouldn't be able to do anything to me. I'm quite grateful, but dinner will be ready pretty soon.
Huh? Is that so? Is that so?
I know you went through all the effort and everything, but, well... Unable to think of a good way to refuse, my words trailed off weakly. But some of this could work as side dishes... Oh, sir.
But some of this could work as side dishes, I think.
I'm sorry, we have more than enough already. My mom always makes quite a few sides, so...
Huh? You have side dishes?
With a smile that bordered on a cringe, I dodged her question apologetically. But the feeling I tried to ignore began creeping up my back again. I spoke as if my mom was setting down dinner right now, but it didn't mesh well with what Rena was saying. Rena was talking as if she was aware of some obvious fact. And that, I was aware of it as well.
So Keiichi-kun can cook? What did you make, I wonder?
No, well, it's not that. Rena had assumed out of nowhere that I had made the dishes. No, not so much that I'd made them, but rather that my mom hadn't.
Did you really make them? The side dishes? Did you, Keiichi-kun?
It wasn't me who made them. My mom did. No, she's making them. Right now. So you see, I'm sorry, but I can't eat what you brought tonight. Rena fell silent at that moment. At that moment, I felt that the light had suddenly disappeared from her eyes.
How about I try guessing what Keiichi-kun's dinner will be?
It doesn't matter what I'm going to eat.
Let's see.
The conversation might appear natural at first glance, but Rena was firmly in control. I felt like I was being interrogated.
Your dinner. I wonder, is it something that could be made with just hot water?
Hey now, stop with the insults. I can't believe you'd belittle my mom's extravagant dinner like that. Tickets sold out, full capacity already. That's that amazing. I tried my best to put on a strong front, but I couldn't grit my teeth quite right. So instead, I looked like someone who was borderline hysterical. But Rena showed no reaction whatsoever, even to that silliness.
Keiichi-kun, did your mother really leave you dinner?
No, you see, she didn't leave me dinner. She's making it right now. It's almost time for dinner. Rena had taken that assertion of mine, that my mother was home and was making dinner right now, and was completely ignoring it. I could tell that the more I panicked, the colder Rena became.
Hey, Keiichi-kun?
At that moment, an uncomfortable chill crept in from the gap in the doorway.
Is your mom home? I wonder?
I couldn't keep up the charade anymore. Rena, she knew full well that my parents weren't home. But I'd come too far to admit that now. Anyway, my parents were here and we'd be having dinner soon. That was the situation I'd concocted. So I answered. I told her she was here. She's here, of course. I could feel the humidity drying out from the surrounding air. Rena's eyes were becoming even more frigid, piercing me with their gelid stare. Or is it gelid or gelid?
Why?
Huh? What do you mean? I tried acting casual, but that facade was torn off me the instant I looked into Rena's eyes. That look, it informed me of Rena's response faster than she could open her mouth.
Why have you been lying to me, I wonder?
I'm not lying.
That's a lie, isn't it?
It's not a lie.
Lies!
Oh god, I can't do that. Oh god. I can't do that at all. Osura! Just like scream out her voice in Japanese. Rena's outburst sent a jolt surging through my body. Rena and I were still separated by what few inches that slightly ajar but still chained door could afford. But despite that, I was still being cornered. My house, which I'd considered a safe haven until now, had become more like a dark alleyway where no one could save me.
Shall I guess your dinner, Keiichi-kun? Let's see.
I knew now that Rena had already known that my parents would not be here tonight. But it was still so strange that it had come to this. Even if she somehow knew that my parents weren't home, there was no way she'd be able to guess what I'd be eating tonight. But Rena said she'd guess. How could she guess it? How could she know it was instant
cup noodles? That's right, isn't it?
I was going to eat. Wait, the cooking repertoire of a man who can't do housework is probably nothing but cup noodles after all. Looking at this statistically, it was the most probable answer. I didn't mean she was just guessing.
I don't think you'd be full with just cup noodles. I think having rice and stuff will definitely hit the spot.
Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. This was just coincidence. Rena was just reading certain tales of mine. So the fact that she was inferring that what I was thinking alarmed me. But it wasn't as if she was actually reading my mind. If it was being read, then she was a demon. No, not a demon. Things like that, they couldn't possibly exist.
Do you like them?
Do you mean noodles?
No.
I don't know what that says. 1, 2, 3, 4... bitches? I don't know what it is. Rena indicated that the point my answer was addressing was wrong. Maybe she's calling him something bad. Let's see. An asshole? I don't know. No, asshole! I don't know what that is. Her rebuttal was so short that I momentarily didn't understand the words Rena had spoken. Sorry, Rena. What did you say just now?
Huh? About what?
Just now, you asked me if there was something that I liked, didn't you? It wasn't long before I regretted how carelessly I'd pushed forward with that question. It was such a simple answer. That was why I wasn't able to comprehend it. Oh, I thought her face was... every time it does this kind of scene and it goes black, I'm just assuming their face is going to be like... right there.
Pork bone and ginger flavor.
No, not the ginger. Can't eat that. You can't eat those. We don't taste good. We're not good. We taste kind of bitter and bad and horrible and soulless. Can't eat us. I wondered how I appeared in the moments my mind went completely blank until the moment I was able to recover. As my field of view began to distort, slowly swirling in a counterclockwise direction, I lost all sense of balance. Why do you know that? I didn't even deny it. That was the type of frenzied state I was in. How could Rena even know this? Not even caring as I smashed my head against the door, I fixated my gaze on Rena. But she didn't even flinch when she saw me do that. I certainly did buy them. I bought a bunch at once. I bought a whole case. How could you know that?
Why, I wonder. Quite strange, isn't it? Isn't it?
How could you dodge the question at a time like this? The chain and the door suddenly were no longer protecting me. How do you know? Why do you know? Answer me!
You bought them at 7th Mart, didn't you?
A shiver ran up my spine. I tried covering it up with an angry facade. Like I said, why do you know that?
I was behind you, following you the whole time.
What are you saying? I couldn't understand why she was saying she'd been following me all this time.
That's because Rena was right behind Keiichi-kun's back the whole time.
Like that night. That night I was absorbed in my phone conversation with Oishi-san. I didn't even sense her being there, standing behind that door. Behind me, standing there, just like that.
When Keiichi...
Oh, she didn't even say Kun. She didn't even say Kun, people. We're in dangerous territory.
When Keiichi was picking out the noodles, I was watching the entire time. You picked out so many different flavors, didn't you? Then your mom got angry. If you were going to pick out the expensive ones, then you should just pick one type, she said. Then Keiichi-kun picked out that big box of pork bone and ginger flavor that he loved so much, didn't he? I like it too. Pork bone noodles. But I can never eat a whole big bowl by myself.
My brain was paralyzed, dulling my senses. It might have been a defense mechanism to diminish the fear I was feeling to non-traumatizing levels. With the fear being diminished, the fog enveloping my mind was cleared away. Then, I couldn't understand what Rena was saying and started to put meaning behind her words. Even so, my fear hadn't subsided completely. It was like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, eyes closed so I didn't have to look down. It didn't actually solve any of the basic problems. I slowly took a step backwards. And as I withdrew, Rena advanced. She's gonna get closer, isn't she? Okay.
So, Keiichi-kun, can you open this? We can eat dinner together. I'm sure it's going to be delicious, so... okay?
Rena's pale, slender fingers squirmed through the crack of the door one at a time, as if they had a mind of their own, rattling the chain. If she had unlatched the chain from the door, a feeling of terror would have just exploded within me. But Rena didn't do that. She was simply imploring me to remove the chain. She was doing her hardest to light the fuse to the powder keg in my heart, trying again and again. Rattle, rattle. But it doesn't light. It doesn't light.
Open up, Keiichi-kun.
Please go away. I beg you, please go away.
How can you say something so mean, I wonder?
Please go away. Go away. Go away! I'm not going to scream into the mic. It'll hurt everybody's ears, and it'll hurt my throat. So, go and get out of here. Richard Nixon. The powder keg inside of me finally went off. No smoldering, it just exploded. I tackled the door. The force through the door had knocked Rena momentarily off balance. I couldn't hesitate here. I grabbed onto the doorknob with both hands, planted my feet firmly, and pulled with all my might. But that slamming sound I so desired didn't happen. I could feel a tiny, disturbing bit of resistance keeping the door from closing, and the source of that was Rena's fingers. Each of those fingers wriggled, squirming around like tendrils of a carnivorous plant through the crack in the doorway.
It hurts! It hurts, Keiichi-kun! It hurts!
It wasn't a harsh shriek, but more of a yelp she was trying to keep back. Go away! Go away! I kept on pulling the door with all my might. I didn't even realize that if I didn't loosen my pull on the door at least momentarily, Rena wouldn't be able to pull her fingers out, and that was why the door wasn't closing.
It really hurts, Keiichi-kun. I'm sorry if I was messing around too much.
I didn't care one bit for her apology. No matter how much she apologized, it didn't change any of what she had done up until now. Didn't change anything.
It hurts. It hurts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go away. Go away! Rena couldn't leave even if she wanted to because I'd trapped her fingers. Rena's white fingers had become deep red and were no longer even squirming.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go Minasai.
Go away. Go away! This is gonna go on for a while. Yeah, she's apologizing. Rena's apologies were occasionally twisted with pain, but like a broken record, she was intent on repeating it over and over. I pulled on the door even harder. Finally, Rena's fingers were somehow able to slip out from their imprisonment in the doorway. The moment that happened, the door closed soundly, and I could hear the thud of Rena falling on her butt on the other side. Really? Butt in a scene like this? Different word, please. Different word. Fall on her ass. It's more fitting of the situation. I locked the door immediately. It made a loud clunk, voicing my rejection to Rena. Oh, she's still apologizing.
Keiichi-kun, I'm sorry. Open up, Keiichi-kun.
Rena leaned against the door, apologizing profusely and nothing else. After confirming that I was sufficiently sealed off from her, I trudged away from the entryway. On the other side, I could still hear Rena echoing her apology. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Those pitiful words, they would be forever seeking my forgiveness. I didn't feel bad about this at all. But that wasn't out of any sort of malice. I felt like a sort of hazy sense of relief that I was able to escape from Rena. Before, Mion had threatened me at this doorway, saying there was nothing she didn't know. And just now at that same place, Rena told me the same thing. My feeble attempts to disguise the fact from my parents weren't home had served no purpose from the start. I should have just pretended to be out and not even opened the door. My meager plans hadn't helped at all. In Hinamizawa, it was impossible to outwit them. Even though I was on the other side of the door, I wanted to get as far away from Rena as possible. One step, two step, with each one her sniveling apologies became more distant. I sprinted up the stairs and dove into my room. As you would expect, I was finally no longer able to hear Rena repeating her endless apology. Diving into my bed, I was startled by the hard lump I felt. There was something in my bed. It was the receiver. I finally remembered. I was in the middle of a call with Oishi-san. Looking at the clock, apparently not much time had passed since I went downstairs. Could it be that my clock had run out of batteries? I had talked with Rena for so long. How did almost no time pass? But the hand on the clock was ticking forward 1 second every second as usual. As I put the still warm receiver to my ear, time, which felt frozen, began moving once again. Hello, Oishi-san? Sorry to keep you waiting. No, not at all. I didn't wait that long. It became apparent that the amount of time that had passed between myself and Oishi-san was different. Over the phone, I could hear the energetic voice from a sports program or something. It drove home just how far away Oishi-san really was. Rena just came now. That was a weird way of saying it. Did she come to play? That doesn't make it any better. I wasn't confident that I could coherently explain the situation to Oishi-san. But I didn't need to right now. Right now, I needed to know about Rena. That's right. I was planning to ask Oishi-san more about Rena, but Rena's little visit had interrupted the conversation. What was true and what was false, I couldn't tell. One thing I knew was the single grim reality that Rena was suspicious. I might be able to figure something out if I asked Oishi-san about her. Up until now, I had regretted it whenever I forced myself to ask about things that I was better off not knowing. But looking at it that way, you could say I'd hit rock bottom. There was no possible way I could feel any more regret than I did now. No. Rather, I wanted to know if there was anything beyond this I would regret more. Forget about tomorrow. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility for something to happen tonight. I wanted to know everything I could. I was absolutely not going to die like this. Not without knowing anything. I definitely won't. Regarding Reno Ryugu-san, I did a bit of digging. Yeah, well, it wasn't much. And what did he find out? We'll find out in the next video. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you guys next time. My name is Meisterbloo, and peace out.